want to go to Senator Bill Cassidy right now, the Louisiana Republican. Louisiana, by the way, that's a very big energy state, third when it comes to natural gas behind California and Texas. But it's also an all-in energy state. I only raised that with the senator because the president, senators, seemed to pivot a little bit when it came to, at first, preventing all Russian oil from getting here. Didn't want that. Now he's changed his mind and he's forbidding it, across the board. And I'm beginning to wonder if his next pivot might be being open to more domestic oil energy production. A lot of people are hoping, certainly in that industry and beyond, that is the next thing. If he were to do that, how would you feel about that?
First, Neil, good to have you back. Good to see you in the chair.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. We need to develop North American energy resources. You got to look at this as national security, energy, the economy of a country, the economy of a family, and the climate. If you ignore one of those four, everything falls apart. The president should be focused upon lowering the price at the pump, which we can do in a healthier, safer way than if we import from Russia. And he can do that while creating jobs for Americans. Now, I would feel fantastic about that, and we could give him some places to start.
You know what I'm impressed with your state, and you've had a lot to do with this, Senator, so I'm not blowing you smoke here. You're just all in on everything. You're all in on all of this. And when we look at imports and countries that depend on Russia or outside sources, it's in abundance in all ways, shapes, and forms in your state. And I wonder, had the president outlined that when he took office, that's not necessarily a fan of fossil fuels, but these days, with everything going on, we need them long before this whole invasion. That could have saved in a heap of trouble. But now, of course, it's anti-fossil fuel. And furthermore, the argument that it's not going to do any good anyway. What do you say to that argument?
Yeah, whenever the president says he's doing everything he can to lower gasoline prices, I start to laugh, and then I get a little angry. In his first week of office, he canceled the Keystone XL pipeline. We should be expediting the shipment of more Canadian oil down to the Gulf Coast refineries. That could have an immediate impact upon gasoline prices. In the intermediate, he has shut down permitting on public lands and will not allow the construction of pipelines to service any development that goes there. We ought to open up public lands to oil and gas in West Texas and New Mexico. Within 6 months, we could have more production from those sites. Lastly, in long term, he has stopped lease sales off the Gulf Coast of Louisiana. Even though a national laboratory study says developing oil and gas off the Gulf Coast of Louisiana has the lowest carbon impact of oil that comes to our shores compared to the rest of the world. It's good for the environment, it's great for jobs, it's good to lower the price of energy. That should be the president's agenda. By the way, we're proposing Operation Warp Speed. Just like for vaccines, the previous administration sped up that development. We can do it now for oil and gas. That's what they should be doing.
Oil prices have been rocketing. The last time they really rocketed, we got up to around 140 a barrel. It was right before the financial meltdown. And 6 months later, oil was trading at 30, 31 bucks. Are you worried that we get to a point that it just cracks the economy?
I am worried about that. Absolutely. It's already cracking families. The family that used to buy steak now buys hamburger. The family that bought hamburgers is buying hot dogs. And the family that bought hot dogs is going vegetarian. So it absolutely is cracking families now. That's why we need Operation Warp Speed. How do we get North American energy resources as soon as possible so we don't have to beg OPEC, we don't have to beg Venezuela, we can actually create jobs here, we can actually create prosperity here and lower gas prices.
But not so fast on the vegetarian thing, Senator, right? I mean, just cool it there. I mean, you can't get that desperate. All right, always good seeing you. Thank you very much, Senator Bill